Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today we're discussing a watch that launched back in 2018 and finally gave Glashütte Original a modern format dive watch. A timepiece that offers 300-meter water resistance, 100 hours of power reserve, chronometer-like timing, and a few vintage-inflected nostalgia elements. The SeaQ Panorama date is a very versatile, modern retort to the likes of Rolex's Sea Dweller and Blancpain's 50 Fathoms. It is a large watch, 43.2 millimeters in diameter in stainless steel, 15.9 millimeters thick, and from lug tip to lug tip, 51.5 millimeters with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, when you throw the watch on the wrist, it's got a lot of presence. It's broad, it's massive, you feel it. It is a heavy watch. You'll know where the money went. Taking a look down the barrel, you can see it's approaching the edge of my wrist, so I really do think you need a wrist my size or larger to wear this. So my wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you can see particularly down the barrel, the lugs are right out to the edge. That's confirmed from the over-the-top shot, and then in profile, you can see it'll fit underneath a jacket cuff, but that's about it. You're not going to clear tight dress sleeves if they truly are tight. Taking a look at the bracelet, it's integrated with a conforming end link. This isn't Nautilus level integration, but it is Rolex level integration. So there's a nice melding of case to bracelet. And then you can see the bracelet features a little bit of taper down from the end link towards the clasp. We have here polished centers, satin shoulders, a single fold thick gauge steel deploying clasp, and you can see there is a little push button mechanism with a rack that locks, and you can use that to slide in and out. There's about 1 centimeter in 1 millimeter increments for fine-tuning the fit. And then you can see that there's also a little intermediate sized link built in. And just to be clear, you can see from the underside that every single link is removable. That intermediate link is there in case you happen to be in between sizes. So with every link removable, you're going to get the right fit. But you can also see how it's sculpted on the bottom to avoid pinching skin, pulling hair, or trapping wrist heat. In particular, the gaps between the center links will vent the wrist quite well. The timepiece features a vintage-inspired case. This is one of the vintage elements where you've got lugs that are squared off, you've got minimal beveling, you have this unconventional vertical satination across the case band, and it really does look like a RPTS 200 from 1967. That is the touchstone for all of the Specialist Collection dive watches. The Specialist Collection was created as the sort of home for both the SeaQ Panorama date and the more basic versions that are more highly historically inflected. This is, though, a modern watch with a screw-down crown, crown guards, 300-meter water resistance, a 120-click bezel, sapphire crystal, and of course, a ceramic bezel insert. This is a forward-looking rather than solely backward-looking diving instrument. Taking a quick look in the dark, you can see there's no shortage of luminance, and that luminescence includes a large index on the bezel, plus all three hands, which is nice because you know your watch is still running when you're in the dark of the depths or perhaps a dive locker just before the event. Taking a quick look at the dial, it is blue metallic sunburst with applique indices and numerals. The font used is vintage, and you can see that particularly with the Open 6. Now, we do have a quick set system for this flush disc panorama datum. Unlike a lot of Geo watches that require you to use a pusher adjuster, this one integrates all the controls into the crown. You can see we also have a hacking or stop seconds function. The only points I'm going to deduct here, note the use of a different font for the 6s. That's the kind of thing the designer should catch, but I really can't complain too much because the hardware is beautiful inside. You can see we have a vintage-inspired broad arrow index minute hand, and then on the reverse side we have a version of caliber 36, which first debuted on the Senator Excellence back in 2016. So it was Geo's first use of an anti-magnetic silicone hairspring, which we have here. It's an automatic winder with a 100-hour power reserve and 6-position adjustment. Pivots on 41 joules. It does have the quick set as well as the hacking seconds. And this is the caliber 36-13 variant. You can see some of the attractive elements, including Glashütte stripes, black polished screws, a black polished swan's neck fine adjustment mechanism, a free sprung balance for toughness against shock, and then we have this lovely double solarized reduction wheel that's finished by hand and is a part of the winding system, but could stand as a work of art in its own right. We also have solarization on the ratchet wheel atop the barrel. It is a good-looking movement, and again, 100-hour power reserve, 6-position adjustment, free sprung, and anti-magnetic. It has a lot of durability to recommend it. Let's listen to the bezel here. It's a gritty sort of 120 click. It doesn't glide like a Rolex or a Cartier, but again, with 120 clicks, it is quite precise. And you can see one of my favorite features of the watch, that the sapphire is cartoonishly cambered to give you some of the charming off-axis distortion of a 1960s plexiglass, and that is part of the idea here. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.